All right, today we're going to dive into something that could completely flip your understanding of reality. We're talking about the most fundamental rule there is: cause and effect. It's so basic we never even question it. But what if it's being broken all the time? And what if the culprit is light itself? For as long as we've been thinking about the universe, this one rule has been king. You push a domino, it falls. That's your cause. Then the next one falls. That's the effect. Simple, right? The cause always has to come first, and there has to be a physical link between them. It's just common sense. But here's the twist. What if the very thing that carries the news of a cause to its effect, a particle of light, a photon, doesn't have to follow those same rules? What if, for light, there's no such thing as before and after? Think about it like this. If you throw a baseball, it has a journey, right? It leaves your hand, it travels through space, and it lands in a glove. It actually experiences the passage of time. But a photon? It's totally different. It gets shot out of a star and then bam, it's absorbed by your eye. From the photon's point of view, there was no journey. There was no in-between at all. So this brings us to our prime suspect in this case against causality: light. And to really understand what's going on, we have to try and see time from its perspective. To get our heads around this, we need a cool little concept from Einstein's relativity called proper time. All it means is the amount of time that passes on your own personal watch as you move around. It's your experience of time, which can be different from someone else's. Okay, so here's the big question. How much proper time does a photon experience, even if it's traveling for, say, 1 billion years across the universe? Well, according to the physics, the answer is zero. A big fat zero, not a single tick of the clock. From a photon's point of view, the entire trip is instantaneous. And this quote from our source material just nails it. For a photon, there is no enduring. There's no journey. There's only the moment it's created and the moment it's destroyed. And from its perspective, those two things happen at the exact same instant. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A photon leaves a star 1 million light years away and hits your eye. For you, 1 million years passed. For the photon, it was a single, timeless event. So if there's no before and after, how on earth can you have cause and effect? Now, this is where our source takes let's say, a provocative turn. It basically argues that when science was faced with this massive contradiction, it didn't ditch the law of causality. Nope, it just quietly changed the definition of what causality means. The source puts forward this really powerful accusation. It claims that by changing causality from being about a physical chain of events to just being a rule about not sending signals faster than light, science was essentially confessing that its foundational principle was broken. And the argument continues that while the experiments are honest, the words we use to describe them are being twisted to keep up the appearance of order. It's a heavy charge for sure, but what if it's not a cover-up at all? What if it's something way, way bigger? Because maybe, just maybe, this isn't about a violation or some kind of scientific evasion. Maybe it's a revelation about how reality actually works, one where light isn't breaking the law at all. See, the whole paradox only exists if we assume light is just another player in the cosmic game, forced to follow the same rules as us. But what if that's not its role? What if light is the lawmaker? It doesn't experience time because light is the very thing that creates the structure of time for everything else. It defines the possibility of a before and an after for the rest of us. So physicists have this awesome way of visualizing this called a light cone. Picture an event, like a firecracker going off. Light explodes outwards from that point, forming an expanding cone through space-time. Now, everything with mass, you, me, planets, all of it, we exist inside that cone. We travel through it, and for us, time moves forward, cause leads to effect. But light itself, it travels on the surface of the cone. It exists on the absolute edge of time, the very boundary that defines what before and after even mean for everything inside. Man, I just love this quote. It's saying that our entire experience of cause and effect, the arrow of time we feel, it's nothing more than a shadow. It's a projection cast by the deeper, timeless reality of light onto us, the slow medium of matter. So if light is the lawmaker, what does that imply about the whole universe? Well, the implications are absolutely mind-blowing. It suggests that the cosmos itself might be built using the exact same blueprint as a single particle of light.
Okay, get ready for this, because the source argues that the universe as a whole has the same fundamental properties as a photon. For instance, a photon has no rest frame. It's always moving at the speed of light. Well, the universe has no rest frame either, because there's nothing outside of it for it to be at rest with. The source even says its total mass energy balances out to zero. The universe isn't just full of light. In a very real sense, the universe is light.
So you're probably asking, how can the universe be self-contained like that? Well, one model that fits this perfectly is the idea of a four-dimensional torus. Think of a donut shape, but looping back on itself in all four dimensions, including time. In a universe like this, there are no edges, no beginning, and no end. It's a system of perfect self-reference, just like light. And here's the ultimate takeaway from that idea. It means we aren't just living in the universe, we are the universe. Every particle, every planet, you and me, we're all just complex vibrations, little knots of energy, inside one single, grand, self-contained cosmic photon. Which leaves us with one last, big question to chew on. If our entire reality of cause and effect is just a shadow cast by a timeless light, then what does that make our own personal experience of time? Is our sense of past, present, and future just an illusion? Something to think about.